Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Aaron Salter brand hosted by Aaron Salter Bay. And we have a great guest today by the name of Jonathan Epstein. He was the lead attorney on my case, or shall I say, federal defender. But since then, he has started his own practice to getting people exonerated and helping them out through their criminal battles through court. He actually helped me out so many times, man. Like, he just my number one guy right now, and I just wanted to, give him this opportunity to, represent himself, man. I know everybody heard a lot about him and what he did on my case, and most of the time they see me and they don't see him. So this is the guy behind all of the work that was done 9 years from 2009 to 2018. Mr. Jonathan Epstein fought on my case. He reinvestigated everything that was presented in courts because he knew that it was tainted, and he knew that it had a tainted spin on everything because of the taintness of the case. So he conducted his own investigation, brought his own federal defender team in, and he just uncovered a mountain of evidence that led to me being exonerated by the Conviction Integrity Unit of Wayne County. So without further ado, I would like to introduce y'all to my friend, my federal defender, and my exoneration attorney, Mr. Epstein.
Hey, Aaron. Hello, everyone.
How you doing, Mr. Epstein?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so how did that go before you actually took my case?
Yeah, let me give a little background,
Okay.
So I went to Wayne State Law School, and when I came out of law school, I got a job with the Michigan Court of Appeals. And that was great training because they teach precision. They have the exact right cases and the pinpoint sites and all that kind of thing. So I worked for the Michigan Court of Appeals for 3 years, honing my skills. And I actually ended up writing some of the opinions that came out in the books. It didn't have my name on them, but I wrote a lot of those opinions.
So about the Court of Appeals, what about the Court of Appeals allowed you to be a successful post-conviction relief attorney that you are today?
Well, a lot of defense lawyers come out of this, just kind of more of a loosey-goosey background. When you come out of being a judicial clerk, a lot of prosecutors start out as judicial clerks. So it just teaches you the discipline of law. No talk, actually getting down in the books, citing the right cases, and making everything just right. So when the judges read my briefs, they're going to be like, this is solid. I got to give this serious consideration. So after that, I did go in private practice for 3 or 4 years, and then I went to the defender office, where again I even further honed my skills. So now I'm on my own. But turning to your case, Aaron, your case came in a petition that you wrote yourself, right?
Correct.
You wrote it yourself, and it came to Judge Patrick Duggan.
It did. It was a federal district court.
Yep.
Judge Patrick Duggan. And he's also Mayor Mike Duggan's father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So Patrick Duggan was an awesome judge.
Okay.
He was rock solid, fair, really good judge. So I think he saw something in your brief that you wrote. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of prisoner briefs that not quite on the money. Yours sparked his interest, so he appointed the Federal Defender Office to further investigate your petition. He didn't just deny it. A lot of these get rubber stamp denied by the judges. When that came in the Federal Defender, they assigned it to me because I was the leading appeal lawyer at the time at the Federal Defender Office. I had already won, if you go on my website, you'll see all the appeals I won at that time, maybe 4 or 5 appeals with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. So I had a a good record coming in. Okay. When I got your case, just like Judge Duggan, I mean, I'm reading your petition, and it was good. You had some issues with regard to the identification process that were unconstitutionally done.
How important is the initial identification process?
Oh, that's extremely important because in your case, there's no scientific evidence tying you to anything. There's no DNA, no fingerprint, no eyewitness because it happened in the dark, right?
Right.
So that detective actually just kind of picked your picture out of his book and submitted. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just a miscarriage of justice. So I knew I had to get to work.
And what about you made you have so much humanity? Because you could have quit, John. 9 years. Like, you notice, like, how many times I got denied and everything, and how we had to go through the 6,500 and reintroduce new evidence. Like, and I got to give it to you. Your strategic planning is excellent, man.
Well, first of all, I apologize for it taking so long, but let me tell you what this entailed. It have to do. It was a big lift, as you know. The first thing I did is I got a good investigator on the case, David Gentry. That guy, he's a hound dog. I mean, he sniffed out every lead, talked to officers, went to that particular DPD office, everything. And so me and Gentry worked hand in hand on your case for quite a while. He developed a lot of the affidavits that we ended up using from witnesses and even from the victim who recanted.
Mm-hmm.
And the victim's sister, I believe it was, who spoke out in court saying, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Even the family. So,
Do that happen a lot? I know it happened in my case, man, and
rare.
I just think
That's
it don't
rare.
happen to it.
Yeah, that's rare.
Yeah.
So Gentry and I developed the case. And then what we did is we filed a supplemental brief with Judge Duggan. So what we do is we built up the case, and then we supplemented what you'd already done.
Okay.
We cited all the case law on false identification, all the constitutional, cases that prohibit that. And Judge Duggan saw merit in the case. What happened is the U.S. Attorney's Office replied that you hadn't exhausted your state remedies.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? So,
yes, sir.
So then another person we got on board was Lauren Kogali, who had just come from the state, and she knew state law better than I did, because I was doing federal. So Miss Kogali, one thing we did is we moved, we filed a motion with Judge Duggan to hold the case in abeyance.
Mm-hmm.
The judge doesn't have to grant that. We argued that and we won that. Judge Duggan issued an order to hold the case in abeyance, which is great because a lot of these federal judges, they don't like cases sitting on their docket.
Right.
So part of the struggle the whole way was keeping this case alive. Don't deny it. Don't deny it. We got a good case here, right? So Ms. Kogali took the case on 6500 to back to the state court and then to the Court of Appeals and exhausted your state remedies. That took 2 years.
So Miss Kogali is the one that actually did that. I see a lot of the work that was done, but just knowing that is a lot.
She did the state stuff. Yep.
Thank you, Lauren. We love you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
You killed it. But of course, I was with her. When we were in the same office. So
yeah,
of course,
it's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a team effort. So when the case was denied, and we were very disappointed that the state courts denied it. We thought the state court should have granted it.
Yeah.
But
and just to let you know, I told my family every year that I was coming home, I never one year decided that this was it or I was going to quit or anything like that. I always said I was coming home. And you're the reason.
We're focused.
You're the reason when you uncovered that main affidavit, it gave me hope, man. It gave me a lot more hope.
Those were good. Those were really good. Yeah. So there's an order entering, I'm looking at the docket sheet here. There's an order entered reopening the case 2 years after the 6500. It took that long. Then later that year, we filed another supplemental brief with regard to the Attorney General's efforts to dismiss the case. If you remember, the Michigan Attorney General was that was the other side that we were fighting against.
Still fighting against them.
Well,
Yeah, still.
I think the office has gotten a lot better these days.
It has.
But in those days, that was not a friendly office to defendants. Okay, I think they're better today.
Mm-hmm.
But so what happened in the years, we won the motion to file a supplemental. We filed our supplemental, and then what happened in the years following that is we did further investigation. I'm sure you'll remember that. Well, first of all, I came up to see you in the UP.
Couple times. Actually.
Couple times, yeah. Those were excellent visits because you put some meat on the bones there about not just the basic words. Mm-hmm. But one thing we did is we went to the scene. We, took photographs. We talked to the witnesses again. One thing I think I did that's pretty creative is I was litigating a lot against the FBI when I was at the defender office. Mm-hmm. Well, I had a bank robbery case where my client was polygraphed by an FBI polygrapher. His name's James Hoppy. That guy was good, okay? He had been the FBI polygrapher, he was there 20, 25 years. He was like the go-to guy in Detroit. He retired during the time your case was going on. So I'm the first defense lawyer to call him. I said, hey, Jim, I got a guy here. It's to polygraph. He's going to pass because he had nothing to do with this case. And Jim Hoppy was incensed. He likes to do justice too. So do you remember the polygraph you took?
I did. I actually took a polygraph at Michigan Reformatory.
Okay.
Level 2.
Well, you passed with flying colors.
Yes.
Okay. That was a big development in the case. Another big development is I was getting letters from a guy from the same neighborhood as your case. I won't say his name, but he was in custody.
Okay.
He was trying to trade with me, trying to cut some deal. I'll help you out in an assault case if you help me out on my case, kind of thing. Well,
right.
He was the shooter, as you know, in your case.
Absolutely.
I went to the prison where he was at and met with him, sat down with him. Of course, I didn't cut any deals.
What type of guy was he? Just,
he was
getting
nasty,
a read
dude.
from
He was a killer. Yeah, he was hardcore. Yeah. And he was writing me letters. And to be honest, I was trying to get him to confess because if I had a confession from him, total exoneration, right? He never quite did, but he got close to the edge on saying it because he said, yeah, I was there.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So we got his affidavit or we got his paperwork that he was close. So we added that to our...
And what was his description? What was his actual description far as, this all matter tying into the case?
I don't have an exact memory of what he said, but I know he put himself there at the scene, which is huge.
It's huge.
I mean, he's not going to say I was the shooter because that exposes him to a murder charge, right? So,
and there's no statute of limitations on murder. So.
Right, but I mean, I'm just telling you, for months I worked this guy. I worked him. And I was friendly to him, and I was cool with him. And I didn't try to frame him or anything. I was just cool with him.
Right.
And that's one thing I like to do is, I don't have a combative personality. Okay. I like to get the judges on my side. I like to get the police on my side. I like to get everyone on my side and see my point of view. And all together, we could work this out. So the next thing we did is we had a couple big conferences with the Attorney General's office. We invited them to our office. We had a big conference table. We had the Attorney Generals. We had their investigators. We had some legal associates with them. I had Mr. Hoppy. I had Ms. Kogali, myself, Mr. Gentry. We had our whole team there, their whole team, and we met. We were like, look, this guy, Mr. Salter, he's innocent. Look at all that what we've built up. Mm-hmm. So they said, well, we're going to we're going to submit this for consideration to the higher levels. So I thought, oh, right, they didn't reject us. They're going to submit it. Well, honestly, all they did was waste time. They had that thing for consideration for months and didn't do anything. And then after several months, they said, no, we're not going to do it. Well, I feel like they just, I feel like they were just playing a game with me, so I was kind of pissed. But in the meantime, we had the new lawyer come on. Tell me your name again. I'm sorry.
Colleen Fitzharris.
Miss Fitzharris
Yeah.
came on as like a law associate.
Mhm.
Well, it was her idea to summarize all the work we'd done in a letter to the Conviction Integrity Unit of Wayne County. So I said, great idea. Go for it. Let's do it. So she basically summarized all the evidence that we'd built up, all the cases, everything.
And that's a mountain of evidence, right?
We built up a case.
Right.
We had a really good case. In fact, it was so good that Judge Edmonds held it on her docket for a long time.
I remember.
And this is part of what I do. I would go into her chambers personally and beg and just like tell her where we're at, update her, and beg her not to rule on the case yet, because she could have ruled.
She could have.
She could have ruled.
Yeah.
She didn't rule.
Right.
I mean, she knew, like Judge Duggan knew, like I know,
right.
that there's an injustice.
It's a man's life at stake. You know what I'm saying?
man's-
It means a
your
lot to the
life was at
judges at
stake.
will. Yeah.
Your life and your family and
Yeah.
all your loved ones,
Yeah.
everyone. So I'm not trying to.
No, that's exactly like you giving me insight on how to look at it from different perspectives.
Yeah.
And you right. It was a lot of our families at stake.
Yeah.
Because
and-
it was a time, even my mother, she was like, I ain't gonna make it.
yeah.
And she's making it right now, just to let y'all know, like, it's power
God bless her.
and reuniting families and
Yes.
things like that. You know,
Yes.
it is.
And injustice just spreads like a cancer. You know what I mean? It just, you want a legal system that's going to be fair.
Right.
I mean, that's what we need as a community,
Yes.
as a state, as a country, right? So, yeah, Aaron, I worked this thing. I worked this thing and kept it alive and met with.
Was you ever to talk to the officer that was actually in charge or whatever that actually got me in prison?
Yeah.
And I know it's a touchy subject. You don't have to say
he
everything.
retired during that time, I believe, and
Yeah.
he would not give us anything because he felt he might have some liability.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think he's, there's been a subsequent civil action. I know.
Yes, it has.
Subsequent to
And
the
there's a lot of
exoneration.
things we can't talk about.
A lot of
But
things-
I appreciate you for sharing the background that you have, because this really mean a lot to
Well,
me and everybody that's coming after me, so they'll know exactly what it takes, because we got mothers, we got fathers, we got brothers and sisters fighting to get their loved ones out, and they thinking it just take one thing, when actuality, like, it took for the victim's sister to say that I didn't do it in sentence, and it took for the guy that actually committed the crime to reach out to Jonathan Epstein and the federal defender team, and try to reach for a deal. It took for me to take a polygraph. It took for a lot.
there's
It
a
really
lot of
took
work.
for a lot
There's
of
probably
work.
a few things that I'm not even remembering right
Yeah,
now, but we were on this case. This was a big case. This was huge, right?
Yeah.
So, thank
Was
God.
this a highlight of your career?
Yes,
Okay.
number one, and
Right.
thank God here we are sitting
Yeah.
and having this podcast, and it's wonderful. I mean, I just love seeing your face. So,
I do too. I love seeing your face as well, because your face to me represents freedom.
well, thank you.
Because I remember all them days, like y'all was coming in to see me and everything,
Yeah,
and you had to pass stuff through the glass. I don't know if you remember, but Colleen had came up there and she had actually, like, wrote something out, or I was taking notes or whatever. And when I left the client room, I actually received a major ticket for smuggling,
oh my God.
because she gave me a sheet of paper to take notes with. Remember they gave me that sheet of paper and I couldn't communicate. It was like a big thing in our case. Like I couldn't have no communication
I
because
honestly
I
I
was on
forgot
30
about that.
days LOP
Oh, that's I
for
didn't.
smuggling. And Colleen felt so bad. She wanted to do so much. And I just told her, like, just get me free. I'll do this
Right.
30 days.
Well, we
Just get
did
me
it.
out,
We did it, and then when you were
Yeah.
exonerated and went released from custody, Colleen and I went up there,
hmm
and they did a news
Made sure I
story.
got out just
They
to
did a
let it
news
on.
story on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure you
You made
physically are
sure that
out of
I
there.
physically got out
We
of
actually
there.
came to the prison to make sure it happened, right?
Yeah, because I waived my rights to not have to go through the trial process and all of that to get released. I wanted to get released right from prison. So I
Yeah.
did waive my
There was,
rights to be released through the
yeah,
courtroom
there
and
was
all of that.
paperwork, to sign, and
Yeah.
so, and then if you remember, after you were exonerated, within I think a week, we threw a big party at our office for you.
Barbecue.
Big barbecue
Big
outdoors.
barbecue. I love that barbecue,
Yeah.
man. That was everything. I was able to have my family there with me and everything.
And the news, the local news came out, and I think that you can still see the stories on YouTube. Um, just a wonderful thing, man.
It is. So what's next for Jonathan Epstein?
Well, I'm still doing it.
Still doing
I'm
it.
still humping it, man. I mean,
That's good.
I've got cases pending now of gentlemen that are in custody that are stone cold innocent.
Right.
Okay, I'm not saying not guilty, innocent.
Right.
So
Actually innocent.
actual innocence.
Right.
So I'm working on those cases, and I have a new investigator. But I like, when I get hired, I always tell the family we need a good investigator because, you know, I'm not Columbo. I don't run around the streets and interview people and stuff. I mean, that's like TV stuff, right?
But I
So
also think that you hiring your own private investigator or having your own private investigator is actually important because a lot of times those statement of facts that come from the court is like a spin on what the prosecutor actually felt the case was about.
oh, absolutely.
So you always want to make sure, and that's one thing that I really learned and I took from you was investigation is everything.
You see, when
It's everything.
I'm not no slight to the police, but when they investigate the case, they're collecting evidence to convict someone.
Right.
They're not investigating the case to do justice or to do they're looking for evidence to convict the suspect. That's their job.
Correct.
So when we investigate the case, we're looking for everything. No stone unturned. We're looking for anything that will, even things that go against us. We want to know, right? And we want to argue that away. And we want to get the things that are good for us, put those out front. So, yeah,
Is it safe to say in cases like, for instance, in mine, that investigation and having your own independent fact-finding process is important?
yeah, it's like having your own cop, right?
Yeah, you know how hard it is to follow like the prosecutor's narrative and try to like dissect that. That's iron claw proof because it's a lot of stuff. It's the stuff that's not in the record that you actually,
Yes.
look for the private investigator to uncover. So we
Yeah.
need the stuff that's not in the record.
Right.
The stuff that didn't make the record, we need to find that stuff to help argue and get people out, and that requires a private investigator.
In discovery, prosecutors give you the stuff that the evidence they're going to use to convict.
Mhm.
They don't give you everything. So, for example, I have a case right now that involved a search of a cell phone where they found criminality. Well, the last lawyer I took over from was going to cop the guy out to a 5-year plea. So I came in, and lo and behold, I go through all the discovery, and this phone was initially seized by Wyandotte police, not by the feds, Wyandotte, and they got referred to the feds. There was nothing in there about the Wyandotte search.
Correct.
So I emailed the U.S. Attorney. I said, where's the Wyandotte reports? Where's the Wyandotte police reports? Oh, we don't have those. I want them. So that's a case I have going right now. I'm going to get those Wyandotte police reports.
Go get them, man. Go get
We're
it.
going to dig into this further, right? We're not going
Yes.
to just accept what the
Yes.
prosecutor gives us. Nothing against prosecutors. They're doing their job.
Yes.
But we have a job to do too.
You do. You
Yeah.
do. And I love the way you do your job. I love the way you take it serious. And I'm just going to let you know, you my number one attorney in
it.
Detroit, Oakland County, Wayne County, Macomb County, man.
Love it.
So if you ever need any help or you're going through any criminal procedure, even if you did something and maybe a thing been fabricated or whatever like that, hire John Epstein. You see how he got this Wyandotte case pretty much wrapped up.
It's actually a federal case.
A federal case.
Started in Wyandotte, though.
Yeah, so we absolutely want to reach out to Jonathan Epstein about all our attorney needs. For me, I thought you was a good appeal attorney.
I do a lot of appeals. And
So I seen you in trial.
Right. So I'm on the panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of appeal work with the court.
Mm-hmm.
I do Michigan Court of appeals as well. In fact, there's a published opinion that I won in late 2023, not too long ago. People v. Otto.
Okay. People v. Otto.
OTTO. You Google
OTTO.
it. That case got reversed 2-1.
Yeah.
It was a close call.
Uh-huh.
But that man did not, basically it was a bogus charge in that case. Mm-hmm. So we got that reverse. And the case was dismissed. He was released. Everybody was happy. So, yeah, I mean.
You a winner, John.
There's a lot going on.
John, you a winner.
Tried.
You a winner. No, you don't try. You got me out. You didn't try to get me out. You got me out.
Yep.
So we can't use try no more.
Right
like
on.
you doing the work.
Right on.
You doing the work, man. And I wish I could, do a lot, everything for you. But I am going to do a lot for you, man. I'm going to help you wherever you need my help at.
Yeah, we're going to work
use
out.
my skills wherever I can use my skills at to help promote you to the best attorney in Wayne County, Oakland County, and Macomb County. And this from somebody that actually needed him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get in desperate situations and, people they take advantage of them. Jonathan Epstein did not do that. He was behind me 1,000,000%. He did his fact-finding process. He didn't care about nothing that was going on with the social media and the media and everything because he understands that it is a defense position to remain silent. So he knew it was a lot of stuff that couldn't be said and wouldn't be said that he had to get into the case and actually mitigate and close out my case. And I thank you for everything, Jonathan, that you're able to do, and I love you.
Thank you, Aaron.